right?
Okay, so you do agree that, because this is actually something that I think we might be agreeing on. I don't like UBI, but if you were to tell me that we're gonna replace all of welfare and everybody just gets $1,000 a month, I see that way more fair, and I would agree to that. Is that the way you see it too? Or maybe not for the same reasons, but do you agree also that UBI be placed but on replacement of welfare?
Well, if you listen to Andrew Yang on his podcast, I think with Joe Rogan, I think he explains it pretty good. You can't get welfare and the UBI. Like the UBI would replace whatever welfare you're getting. So you can choose to get your maybe the welfare that you get now is more than the UBI, so you would choose against the UBI, but you don't get both, right? Now you still have to pay for all the social workers that have to deal with welfare system right now, but the actual money that goes to the recipients, that gets replaced by the UBI. It doesn't add to it.
The thing is, I know the podcast that you listen about Andrew Yang, and I liked it that he recognized that you couldn't have both systems, that you couldn't collect both. But the thing is, he didn't really support completely replacing it. And I think it's the only way that could make it even a little bit better, because I don't like UBI, but if you still let people decide about keep this welfare or the other, then it keeps being unfair. This is why I think it's better to give everyone $1,000 and then remove every welfare.
Yeah, but some people need more than $1,000 though, like especially people on disabilities and with children and whatever, So, I actually I really like the idea that you have of all the administrative fees or administrative costs and all the social workers that you spend a lot of money.
Is that from the podcast that you heard?
Yeah, that's what you said.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so you do agree with the removal of that cost?
I don't, but I like your idea because what you're saying is very interesting. It's like we're spending a lot of money just in order to give people money, right? That's what you're saying, and that doesn't really make sense. But so you're saying you can just completely get rid of all those people. By the way, all those people are unemployed now, but you get rid of all those.
They're
people.
Getting $1,000 a month.
Right, they're gonna start getting $1,000 a month, which is less than what they were getting.
Come on, Santi, we can't give them all, dog. We can't give them that, 2 hot dogs and a Burger King gift card, dog. I mean, we need to fucking.
Okay. Anyway, no, that was a side note. That by the way, all those people are unemployed, but you still have to give people what they need that they're earning now. I mean, you can't tell an old lady who needs $2,600 worth of help because of medical bills or whatever. I don't know, whatever. You can't tell her, hey, your money now is down to $1,000 just because the government wants to save money. But I would just like to point out that Andrew Yang does lay out how he would pay for this. And again, I'm not saying that it would work. I'm not saying that I'm for it. I'm not saying that it would work, but he does lay out how he pays for that specifically now, which includes all this welfare money that's already being spent. That all goes towards that. And then I'm sure he wants to tax. I'm pretty sure he wants to tax more or whatever. But let me just hit on some things that Steve said. I wrote down really quick about fraud. People are going to commit fraud no matter what, always. Okay, and this is why those social workers are still going to be important.
Yeah, but Santi, people are going to commit fraud always if there's a system to fraud. If you give everyone $1,000, regardless of their situation, there's nothing to fraud. There's no analysis of are you really disabled, or you know what I mean? So you remove the policing.
But he was talking about people are going to have kids just for this reason, or there's other ways and you're just gonna have to police it, I guess. I mean,
well, you can't. I don't having kids.
No, but you can. I mean, kind of going back a couple episodes as well. I do feel like if you're gonna have kids, there should be. I'm not saying that you shouldn't not have kids, where it's a black and a white situation.
I remember this.
But what I'm saying is that per kid that you have, you're going to get a percentage less. So there's no incentive to have more kids. You're going to have to remove the incentive to have kids, and you better be doing it because you just want to be a freaking baby factory.
Because the third kid ain't getting no Nike.
Hey, no, right. That's what I'm saying. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand that there's, to a certain point, you're going to take advantage of me. To a certain point. And that point is what I want determined from the jump. You know what I'm saying?
you're gonna have to balance out the right formulas, you know. And
Exactly.
this we're gonna go and we're gonna go, like I said, this isn't just like, oh, everybody makes their money now, no one has to work.
Right.
It's gonna be 100-year process. I don't know.
Right.
Where like we figure out how it works and how, and it's like, and it might be a thing where like I imagine a world where the government says, hey, so we have a deficit of labor in this area. We need people to work in this area. So then you maybe like you get drafted or you volunteer or you get drafted like for jury duty or something. And then you go and you work on a project for 2 months. Then you go back to your UBI life. You know what I mean? Maybe a system like that where eventually like we little by little, like we take steps, right? We say, all right, we're going to give you $1,000 a month. It's not going to cover everything, but it's gonna help you, whatever. And then we say, okay, well, the poorest people can just live on that. That's cool. The people in the middle class and office jobs and shit are still gonna work, and they're still gonna get their $2,000 a month. To eventually you move up to where like barely anybody has to work now because it's literally not needed. It's not because
where are the resources coming from? That's the thing. Like at the end of the day, money is just a reflection of a work that was done before, right? Like money is just the tool that we can use to trade things in an easy way. But at the end of the day, money represents work that you did. So where are the resources gonna come from if nobody's working?
Money doesn't represent work that you did. Money represents like what you can do with it. So
Right,
food,
but
food, shelter, a car. That
yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that like if you worked the whole weekend serving and you made $500, right? And you want to go now buy a guitar that costs $500, the money is acting as the tool to be able to trade that weekend of work for that guitar. Because the guitar guy, if you tell him, hey, can I serve your house for a weekend, you give me that guitar, he's gonna be like, yo, are you fucking on drugs? No, I'm a musician, but I don't do drugs. All right, then you should start doing them because you're acting weird, right? So, but do you agree with me? Like money, I mean, nowadays money is just printed, so it's not even a good metaphor. But theoretically speaking, we use money so that the work that we did on the weekend, right? In my case, fucking answering phone calls from angry motherfuckers, I'm able to trade that money to go to Sevilla tomorrow, right? And have fun with my girlfriend type shit. So like when you say nobody's gonna work, then where are the products gonna come from? Because I think that everything is created out of incentive. If there's not an incentive, people are not gonna do it. So
okay, so it's really hard to visualize a future like this, right? Because we're nowhere near it. But you can see how like a machine can replace one job, right? You can visualize that because that happens now. One machine can replace one job, and one machine can actually replace 10, 20 jobs, whatever it is, or hundreds of jobs on the internet and shit, whatever. So the point is that entire parts of service could be replaced by machines. So if I made $500 serving over the weekend, and I want to buy a guitar with those $500. First of all, I'm gonna make another $500 and buy a $1,000 guitar. But anyway, but the point is like, if a machine did that work, did that $500 work, then that work still got made. I can still the economy as a system can still afford that guitar.
yeah, but the thing is, it's not an economy. It's the company or the owner that invested in that. Like
no, it's fine. I understand, but it's
okay.
like. Right. Well, that's what I mean by the economy. The economy still created that wealth to buy that guitar. I'm not saying that wealth belongs to me. I'm not saying that I should get those $500 to buy the guitar. But I am saying that wealth still was created without human labor. So on the one right now, you have a human that works a weekend to make $500, and in the near future, you're gonna have a machine that makes those $500. Those $500 were still made. That wealth was still created. Okay, so now the question is, where do those $500 go? Does it go to the CEO of the company? Does it go to, and it probably goes to maintain the machines, right? Obviously, maintain the machines and do all this shit. But when every company is doing this in every facet of the economy, then you have $500 for everyone to buy a guitar because you made that much wealth and you can afford it. It's just a matter of saying we're going to allocate that money to give to the citizens, because the company is banking, the government is banking, and the citizens are the ones who are just not finding
I think this is where our wall comes.